What would you do if it turned out that nobody could get even remotely close to you within a certain distance without dying on the spot? Would you try to discover the cause in order to obtain some sort of cure, or would you revel in being a recluse and enjoy your newfound ability to get some peace and quiet? I don't know. I personally kind of go back and forth between those options myself. They both have their list of positives and negatives. But that being said, the film Radius offers that exact dilemma. Let's get cracking. Radius stars Diego Klattenhoff as Liam, a man that wakes up with amnesia and starts to realize that people everywhere are dropping dead on the spot. He first begins to think that it's an airborne virus of some sort before he quickly understands the truth. For some odd reason, anybody that gets within a certain distance from him immediately dies. That is, except for Jane, who's played by Charlotte Sullivan, a woman that also has amnesia as well as the ability to be unaffected by his affliction. And when they're together, people actually stop dying, but it is too late. The police are already on his track. So, the two of them work side by side as much as they can possibly muster in order to solve the enigma of this deathly radius that surrounds them. Looking back, I remember some people talking about this film in certain circles, and I recall being interested in the concept as a whole, but was so busy with other things that I never got around to it. This is another low-budget, high-concept film that I feel as though the budget, in this case a little over just $14,000, was utilized to the best of its ability for the most part. Most of the time, while it does indeed feel low budget, I would have actually argued that it never felt that low. I would have guessed somewhere in the vicinity of maybe $350,000 or so. There's not really many visual effects going on in this film, save for a couple of bigger moments. Instead, it has a repeating effect of people's eyes going white before they die. That's basically it. Behind the scenes, the rest of the movie mostly comprises of dialogue, flashbacks, and a cat and mouse type of road trip. None of that really needs all that much money. What does need money, however, is procuring better actors. The people in this film weren't all that bad, especially Charlotte Sullivan, who has been featured in a lot of great TV shows and beyond. The guy playing Liam, on the other hand, had some stale or stoic moments that failed to impress me or relate with him in any real way. That, combined with a script that had some iffy dialogue moments here and there, might make a lot of audience members scoff a bit. However, this is a fantastic and original concept. It makes you think about what you would do in the same predicament. It makes you wonder how this entire thing's going to end up in the climax of the film. It truly has a lot of good things going for it. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the strongest story. There were so many different paths that the film could have taken with as big of a concept as it is, and a lot of those paths probably would have technically been better than what they did. But I'm sure that a lack of budget limited their options for storytelling, and they were left with something that I'm actually sure wasn't entirely what they wanted either, but it was acceptable enough to have their voices heard anyway. Honestly, I can relate to that. My movie, Secret Seam, is also something that I categorize as low budget, high concept. But because my budget was so low and because everybody in the film lived all over the world, I had very little options other than to attempt to do a Screen Life film. And most people thought the film was garbage, and I can't really fault them for that, but just like Radius, there's a solid idea there that could be utilized more effectively with a bigger budget. And so the curse of independent media lives on. As how flawed the film can sometimes be, as I said before, they mostly utilize their budget as effectively as possible, and they even threw a few twists and turns here and there that you might not immediately see coming. Whenever I recommend a low-budget independent film, I often question if a modern, wider audience would also appreciate it. The answer's usually no, as expectations these days are really hard to meet unless you're the biggest studio out there. But every once in a while, I do find a movie that I think most people would get something out of, even if they think the movie as a whole sucks. Radius is one such film. Personally, I enjoyed it. I think a lot of other people will also enjoy it if they give it a chance. At the end of the day, I'm scoring this film a C+ letter grade. That basically means, for the most part, it did its job. It introduced you to a really good concept and a story that might not be the best, but was still captivating enough for you to never really get bored while watching. But again, it is a film that has a significant amount of flaws that was unavoidable with a film that has this high of a concept and this low of a budget. But that's just my 2 cents, guys. Have you seen Radius? If you have, leave me your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed it, if you didn't, let me know. As for YouTube, you guys know what to do. Hit the like, subscribe button, and bell to be notified when I come out with my next review. And until then, peace out!